Hello everyone and welcome to a new tutorial. Today we are going to be doing Simbrief tutorial because the last one I did has I think 2 years or 3 years, so it's a bit out of date. So I'm going to do a new one, and as you may know, I'm working right now with Ryanair, so I'm a cabin crew, so I have access to some information, like how to do flight plans and things like that. So I'm gonna be showing you guys how to create a flight plan properly for flying with Ryanair, virtual Ryanair. So the first thing that we're gonna be doing is we're gonna go to Simbrief, and in Simbrief you're gonna click on New Flight. Okay, I'm just gonna cover the things that are new. Okay, because you can use the other one, but this is just going to be a quicker and with a little bit of more information. So you're free to go to the other tutorial, which is 30 minutes long, and it's more in depth. Than this is going to be. Okay. So once you're in Simbrief, you want to be having already the flight information for your flight. So for me, we're going to be doing Madrid Palma de Mallorca, and also the destination page. You don't need to have it like I do. You can choose to go here and destination map. This is gonna help for your alternates, okay? But you can choose to do this for the alternates, or you can leave them on auto. And you're gonna be also needing the Ryanair website. So first of all, in the flight info Ryanair, then you put your flight number, which is 2051, departing from Madrid, arriving to Palma de Mallorca. To Palma de Mallorca. Now, your aircraft. This is going to be another topic, but on the other tutorial that I have, you can see that I shared some aircrafts. Okay. So you can leave this all in as a standard. Okay. Like this, because the fuel factor it works best on 0. You can have minus or plus, but I don't see the point on it, so you can just leave it at 0. The ATC call sign, you can pass it from here. If you are unsure if it's this call sign, you can always check flight radar going here, and if in flight radar puts the same call sign, then you're good to go. So with the call sign, we put it there. Now I'm gonna go to the next part, optional entries, and then the last thing is going to be these selections. But for now, we're gonna be doing one at a time. So scheduled flight time. For this, you can follow Ryanair, 1 hour 25, or you can go to the Ryanair official website. I recommend you to go to the official Ryanair website, because here we update the information all the time, and maybe this hasn't been updated in 1 month, 2 weeks, So for the most up-to-date flight times, block times, I recommend you to go to the to the Ryanair website. So we're gonna set Palma de Mallorca, and we're gonna put forward tomorrow, for example, 9 and 9. Let's just simulate that we are gonna plan this real flight on this flight for the sim, okay? So Ryanair 2051, important to check this, because sometimes, depending on the flight number and the date on the time of the flight, the duration, it's different. Maybe it's more, sometimes it's less. It depends, So 2051 is at 7:20 in the morning, and duration is 1:30. So we go here, and on the scheduled flight time, you put 1:30. The departure runway, you can leave this on auto, or you can put it manually. For Madrid, I can put it manually because it's my home base and I know how they work, So we have depart, winds 1403 knots. It's the 36 right for departure, okay? And the arrival runway, we can leave it as it is. Or also, if you are familiar with the airport entry procedures, I can see that the winds are for the runway 24 left for the arrival, okay? Now, passengers, you can put passengers. I personally leave this on auto, or you can follow the passengers that give you Ryanair, I set them on 0 and go by the flight plan that Simbrief gives me. The freight is 0, we don't carry any freight. Dispatcher name, you can put it on random. Captain name, your name. And your pilot ID, I put my personal crew code, which is Charlie Alpha Bravo Juliet Uniform Alpha, Capua. Now, here's the small things that really doesn't matter, and it just depends on the airport that unless you have real operational flight plans, you cannot know which time for taxi out and taxi in to put. But however, if you leave it at 15.5, it's the most accurate, okay? 15 minutes is good for the APU and for the taxi, and the taxi in 5 minutes. Unless you're in Madrid, where the taxi time, it can get the longest is 12 minutes if you're arriving on the 3-2 right and going to the Terminal 1. So yeah, it's 10 minutes if you are fast. If you're not that fast, it can take 15 minutes. So just leave it at 5. This is really not that important, just the taxi out is the important one, because it gives you their taxi fuel, which accounts for the taxi fuel and also for the APU time. So next, extra fuel. Currently, there is no option for tankering on Simbrief. They are planning on it because I asked them if they're gonna plan to add some system to do fuel tankering. They told me that yes, they are planning. It's something that they are working on. So at the moment, the only way to do tanker fuel is to create one flight plan, for example this flight plan, and then create the next one for the way back to Madrid, okay? And once we get that flight plan, check what the fuel is going to be, and then redo this flight plan, the Madrid Palma, and add the extra fuel, okay? If you want to have it accurate, you know. So it's a little bit of a pain in the ass, you know, in that way. But however, Ryanair doesn't do much tankering from Madrid that I know. Only Ibiza is the only one is the airport where we do tankering, you know. Other than that, maybe Charleroi, not Charleroi, Charleroi maybe. I don't know. I haven't flown there yet, so I cannot tell you guys. But Ibiza is one of them, for example. But you can leave it at 0. Not important. You don't need to do tankering in virtual Ryanair, you know. You are not paying anything for the fuel, but just to simulate things, you know. You know how to do it. Now your route, you can use virtual Ryanair, or you can use Simbrief. Here, I would personally use Simbrief because they are updated and they are IFPS compliant. I think it is. Yes, IFPS validation. They have IFPS validation, so they are Eurocontrol approved routes. So this route is good. Or depending, for example, if you this I've seen thing this that I'm gonna show you is real. Like Ryanair doesn't fly a route and that's it. It depends also on the weather. You know, maybe the weather suggests another route. This is a short flight, but for example, routes from all Europe, you know, like from here to there, you know, can vary. So you can put this the weather, the sea weather, and the winds, and depending on this, pues, well, you then create your flight plan, your route. Okay, so for example here, like this, you know, you can choose whatever route. This is the one that we actually fly from Madrid. You know, it's a bit weird, but it's the one that gets fly a lot. But let's suppose that you're flying to I don't know, Berlin, you know, and you have this, and you're expecting that, and it's really big, and it's going to get on your way, and it's gonna add a delay. Then you can, if you can check the suggested routes, and if there is one that gets a little bit past it, you can use it. You know, just your route should be accommodated to the conditions, to meteorological conditions. After that, that's it for the route. You can leave it as it is, or you can remove the instrumental departures or whatever. Route find. I don't particularly suggest to use this unless the route is very weird. That Simbrief gives you is very weird. It's very snaky, you know. So you're welcome to use, or you can avoid a fixed service. For example, now that we are not flying to, there is a restriction in Ukraine. You could put the airspace in Ukraine, but to us really doesn't matter because we mostly fly Europe, and that zone of where it's not really much used for Ryanair, you know. And now we come to the alternates. For alternates, you click on find, and you can leave this like this. And actually, this has given me some very good alternates, to be honest. But I'm gonna change them just for teaching purposes. So let's say that this gives you your alternates depending on the weather. Okay, you can check the weather on each one, or you can add them randomly. Okay, but what we're gonna do is go to the destination map, and here you're gonna check the bases close to Palma de Mallorca. As you can see, we have Barcelona, Valencia, and Alicante. So we are gonna choose those three. So the order, whatever order you want. Maybe you can put the farthest one the first one, because in that way the alternate fuel is going to be more, so you have a little bit extra play with it, you know. So I would recommend you to put the farthest if you know that there is a very big possibility to go to an alternate. But for example, on these weather conditions, I wouldn't want to go to Barcelona, even though it's good, it's easy. But you know, you want to make your life easier. So let's say that we're going to Valencia, which is calmer, easier. So you do like this, Valencia and Barcelona. Here we're gonna put Alicante as the last one, and then, like we don't have any close bases, we can choose one airport, closest airport, Mahon or Ibiza. Whatever of these two, you know, whatever you want, your personal preferences. For me, I prefer Ibiza, because from Madrid we fly to Ibiza and send a rescue crew would be easier, you know. But complex things, don't need to get into it. Just, you know, whatever you want. From the Ryanair route, whatever you want. Now, here comes another important thing. Takeoff alternate is usually an auto, depending on your conditions for the departure. But I'm not gonna talk about it because I think that I talked about it on the last tutorial. En route alternate. This is really important. Okay, this is really important for your contingency for your contingency fuel. Contingency. I don't know how to say it now. For your cont fuel, okay? Contingency fuel. 3% or 5%. What do you choose? Well, if with this route you can search and you can have an en route alternate, then you use 3%. Okay? Let's say that with this route we couldn't find an en route alternate. Then what do I choose? 5%. Okay? So, this means if you don't have an en route alternate, your contingency fuel is going to be 5%, and if you have an en route alternate, your contingency fuel is going to be 3%. So for this flight, en route alternate, we have Valencia, so we can use 3%. Okay? What does this mean? In case you are expecting to arrive at Palma de Mallorca with less than the minimum required to go to your alternate, so for example, if you're arriving 100 kilograms below your reserve, so once you hit reserve, you're going to your en route alternate. That's the easiest way to say it. Okay, if you're on the reserve limit, using the reserves, it's a no-go to Palma. You go to your en route alternate. But if you are above if you're landing with above your But if you are arriving with above your FMS reserve fuel, then you go to Palma. Easy. Once you hit the reserves, go to Valencia, go to your en route alternate. Good. So now, after this has been explained, pretty much the flight plan is done. Alright? So the only thing that I'm gonna be talking about now is the selections. OFP layout, if you want to follow if you want to follow real procedures, then you choose the OFP layout for Ryanair. Units kilograms. Contingency fuel depending on your en route alternate, and the reserve fuel 30 minutes. As easy as that. This on 30 minutes always. Detail nav log, you can check that. ETOPS, Ryanair doesn't have ETOPS, so you can uncheck that. Plan step clamps, yes. Runway analysis, yes, even though the Ryanair flight plan doesn't give you runway analysis. NOTAMs and FIR NOTAMs. FIR NOTAMs, you can uncheck that, or you can check that depending on how real you want your flight plan to be. To be honest, just with the NOTAMs, you're good to go. Okay. The FIR NOTAMs is just if you are a geek and you want to read your FIR NOTAMs to know what things on your en route are going to be. For example, a vRYR is not working, restricted airspace, whatever, you can check that. For me, personally leave it on, and sometimes I read them, sometimes I don't, because in Flight Simulator, well, you don't really need it. But just nice to know. For example, COVID procedures like entering in Germany, they appear on the NOTAMs, on the FIR NOTAMs. And that's it. That will be your flight plan. Now, the last thing you want to do, after everything is set, cross-check everything, okay? Cross-check every single thing, like you do it again. We are Ryanair, airline Ryanair, flight number 2051, Madrid, Palma de Mallorca, alternate Valencia. Aircraft type, Echo India, Echo November, Mike, 737-800 winglets, Ryanair. This is personalized for me, okay? Now, advanced aircraft options. Climb profile, you can leave it as it is because there is no more, so like that. Cost index 6, distance profile like that. Fuel factor, leave it as it is. Registration, VIN number, Shellcal, and important, call sign, Ryanair 5 Mike. Ryanair 5 Mike, it's good. Next, scheduled flight time, 1:30, 1:30. Departure barometer 6 right, arrival 24 left, taxi out 15, taxi in 5, extra fuel 0, altitude auto, because this is going to give you, if you for example put the 370, you can check that the plan step clamps are off. In real life, you don't usually follow an altitude like on virtual Ryanair says, like you can put it on 0 and you use Simbrief, but sometimes they give you an altitude, and your altitude depends a lot on winds and on the zero fuel weight you have. Okay, like if you are too heavy, you're not gonna be able to climb to 410, for example. Okay, so just leave it on auto, okay, and just leave Simbrief to calculate your climbs and your step climbs, your descent times, just leave it in auto. Passengers, whatever you have chosen. I chosen auto, so auto, freight 0, zero fuel weight in auto. Captain name and crew code, dispatch remarks, I don't want to add anything. Route, alternates, Valencia, Barcelona, Alicante, Ibiza, en route alternate, Valencia. We are good to go. So now, you can do two things. Your departure time can be whatever you want. Okay? Whatever you want. You can put 1 hour, 30 minutes, 10 minutes. Personally, what I do is I try to follow like in real life. I usually put 1 hour for the flight, because in real life you have to report not past 45 minutes before departure. So if you are at if there are 44 minutes until the aircraft departs, you're late. Okay, so 45 minutes before departure you have to do the check-in, and I have 15 minutes to, well, more than 15 minutes, but 15 minutes or even more to check the flight plan, check the conditions, check that we are good to go, check if I need to carry more fuel for the for the arrival, because there is storms en route, whatever, And what I'm gonna do is show you something that I often do because I got used to read the flight plans and be fast, and check for the specific things that if I'm gonna need more fuel or not, if they're good to go or not. So I usually put 45 minutes. So when you click here, reset to today's date, it's gonna give you plus 30 minutes of your current UTC time. Okay, more or less, it rounds up, but every time you click on this, it's going to give you plus 30 minutes of preparation time until your flight departs. Okay. If you want to have 15 minutes more, which will be 30 plus 45, 30 plus 15, it will be 45. So what do we add? We add 15 minutes. So after this, 0025, 30, 2336 is rounding up to 40. So we will have a good 47 minutes, 48 minutes. Okay, until our departure time, which is good. For me, at least, it's good. Whatever you want. You can choose whatever you want. I personally like this, to use 45 minutes or an hour, depending on the flight. Now, generate flight plan, and that's it. The flight plan is generated, and you will now see something that is very important. That was the why you choose this duration, and you don't leave it on auto or something like that. Okay. So, as of this, you can see our estimated time of arrival is 1:55 in the morning, and our planned arrival time at gate is at 1:50. To do things easier for you guys, I'm gonna tell you what we actually do in real life. Your estimated time of arrival is the time you land. Okay? Just forget about these two numbers. Just delete them out of your mind. Doesn't care. Doesn't. It's not really that important. Okay? Your important ones are these ones. Okay? Your estimated time of arrival, 0155. Okay? If you arrive before that time, good. You're early. If you arrive at that time, you're on time. If you arrive plus 5 minutes of your STA, you're on time still. However, if you passed 10 minutes from your arrival time, then you're late. Okay? Anything past 5 minutes plus 5 minutes from your STA, you're late. So 6 minutes past my STA, I'm late. Okay? Usually, you're gonna be having no problems regarding this. You're always gonna be arriving early. I can tell you that. Okay, because this is pretty strict, and this actually gives a lot of extra time just in case of ATC delays. It's very well programmed. You don't have to worry. So if you follow this, you are good to go. That's why I recommend using Ryanair and not the virtual Ryanair, because it's not that it's bad. It's 5 minutes, but this information gets updated once a month, every 2 weeks. This information gets updated every single day, every week. Every time a flight is taking off and landing, the information is getting updated. Okay. So, with the flight plan done, now I'm gonna teach you guys how to not read it, because I think you are supposed to know how to read it. If you don't know how to read it, then I can do a tutorial, okay, explaining everything. But what I'm gonna fix myself now is on extra fuel. How much extra fuel do I need? Well, this depends. Let's suppose that in Palma de Mallorca the weather meteorological conditions are shit, and I don't know, we have a major storm there. It's gonna be maybe I don't know, a cumulonimbus. It's raining, it's hailing. It's the worst conditions ever. And let's say that I don't want to. I want to carry more fuel, just to be comfortable. Okay. Even though you have all of these extra fuels to help you with that. I want to carry more fuel. This is how we do it in real life. You carry more fuel if you're expecting that. So to calculate that fuel, what you need to do is you can do two things. You can do it easy way, hard way. Easy way, 2400 kilograms divided by 60 equals the amount of fuel you use in 1 minute. Okay, that's the average. If you want to be more specific for your flight, my average fuel fill is 2477 kilograms. So, what do I do? It's easy. Let's say that I want to take 10 minutes of extra fuel. So, okay, so to calculate the extra fuel, what you're gonna do is 2477 divided by 60 gives you 41.28. And I want to take 10 minutes, so if this equals 1 minute plus 10, times 10 equals 412 kilograms of fuel. So 10 minutes of extra fuel are going to be 412 kilograms. Good. So what I do now is 5472 plus 425, 5897. And that's it. That's how you calculate extra fuel. Whatever you want. Okay? After you divided this by 1, by 60, then you can do whatever with that. You can add 15 minutes, 30 minutes, however you want. Whatever you want, sorry. And that's pretty much it. I'm not gonna be talking about anything more. I think that's just as good and as easy as I can get it, okay? I can be here explaining a lot more. But just to make this video easy and shorter, that's it, okay? If you have any question, don't hesitate to ask me. If you are on the Discord, I'm usually very present on the Ryanair, virtual Ryanair Discord, so you can ask me any question. If not, you can leave it on the comment section. Or you have my Instagram, which is Juan Carlos Cabanelas, and you could go there and ask me any question you want via direct message. Okay, so I hope that with this tutorial you now understand more about flight planning, okay, and what you really need to create a more or less the more accurate flight plan to one of the real life. So guys, it's been a pleasure as always, and I hope to see you on another tutorial. Thank you and bye.